It's me, Light Spiller, back to do another video. In this video, I wanted to do a video based off of a comment that was left to me a while back, and I've been thinking about doing this, adding in videos or doing videos based off of your comments that you guys leave, because I have to say, you guys leave some of the most interesting comments, and I have such a great time going back, ciphering through all the comments that are left, responding, because I like to respond to each and every one of the comments that are left in each video, whether it's a really old video or a really new video. It doesn't matter. I like to get into it. But let me get down to the question. It comes from one of, I don't know if he's a subscriber or not, but his name is Mike from Stockton. He says, "Hey man, I thought it was funny that your wife didn't want the Pandora's box still left there, and I think that would be a great topic for a video. To what extent do you grow your collection while also respectful towards your spouse with space?" To me, and that's a really good question, Mike. To me, and that brought up the whole subject about boundaries of my collection. What boundaries do you have set? Because everything has a border, everything has boundaries, everything has limits, everything has certain areas that it can cross versus where it can't go or what it can do. For me, and this may be a video that's going to kind of be all over the place with my response because I'm thinking about a lot of things at one time. It's funny because when I started collecting back in 2012, like really started collecting, because I've been playing video games forever, as much as I call it. It seemed like every time I went into this journey of collecting, new discussions were brought up as far as dealing with my spouse and my wife or whatever, and then just having a normal functioning household, and still with the same mindset, knowing that, hey, this guy likes to collect video games. So it started out with the shelf. At first, it started out with just having a small TV stand for my TV. And I had about 3 or 4 consoles at the time. I think I had my Super Nintendo, my Sega Genesis, and I think I had my PS2. And I may have had, that probably was it as far as the retro stuff. And then the current stuff, I only had the PS3, and that was it. But then I started to notice that I was going out buying more and more consoles. I went and got the Xbox, I went and got the Dreamcast, got the TurboGrafx-16, I got the Slim PS2, the Nintendo 64, and the Super Nintendo. I mean, I started getting more and more consoles, so I knew that I was going to need more and more space. But at the same time, I went out one day and I got this lovely shelf that you guys see now that I've had since day one. And it started out with just having a few games here and a few games there, and then one day the games started to overwhelm the shelf. My PS2 games, I actually have gotten rid of a lot of them, because at one point I had games stacked in the back and in the front. So all you could see was just like this part where you could see my arm at, and that was pretty much it. It was nothing left. There was nothing else. So all you see was all these games just stacked up, and that's just so many games after so while. And then my wife, she started to help out with the collecting and created new boundaries. So it was more of a discussion between her and I. I don't know how your situation works at home, like if you got a room, because see, I don't have no man cave, quote unquote man cave, or none of that stuff. But for me, she just gave me new areas to place my collection. So she actually gave me these totes. So I started putting games in the totes on the shelf. And then one day, what was funny is that I started seeing other gamers putting games on top of the shelf, because I wanted to utilize my shelf as much as possible, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections on the shelf that I can use for games. The top section I have for my Nintendo games. The second shelf is just for my Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis stuff. And then I got some box games over here. Then my third shelf, which is almost like my biggest section, I have my PS3 or my PS2 stuff. And then my fourth shelf, I have my original Xbox, my 360, PS1, and my PS4 games. And then on the bottom shelf, the very bottom, got PS3 games. And then I got my Nintendo 64 games, and they're in shoe boxes. So I've just learned how to utilize the space. But just getting back to the subject at hand, the boundaries of my collection, I've learned that this area that you always see me record in is my area. And one day my wife was asking me, because I never put posters up on this wall, but one day she brought it up and she was like, do you want to put posters up? Or why haven't you put posters up? And I was thinking, well, I kind of thought that was the end of my boundary. Like, this was the border. Like, I couldn't, like, it's okay to have the shelf up in here because I have to realize that I'm sharing this space with somebody else. And she was like, oh, no. She said, it's okay. You can go ahead and put posters up. So that's why I started putting posters up. She was like, yeah, I thought you would have done it already by now. So I guess my whole thing is learning the difference between your boundaries, because I know I will never plaster this whole room with games and stuff like that. I don't know how your situation may work. I've seen numerous setups, like my buddy Gare Bear. I've seen he got a room full of games. Same thing with Happy Console Gamer. He's got like a whole section, just a whole wall full of games. But then you got common folk, guys like us, who just got the one little section and some of the closet space that we can utilize for our games. And eventually she bought me a new shelf. She got me like this black mantle shelf for all my consoles to put them on display. So it's almost like, even though this is our room, she realizes that I need space too. So we try to bring the two worlds together and share the space. So this is pretty much where I do all my recording and everything. But tell me what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video out. Tell me about your collection. What boundaries do you have? What kind of deals have you worked out with your spouse? What's your situation? So I just typically try to keep it within the confines of this shelf, and that's about it. I thought about bringing another shelf, but and I got my badges hanging up on the wall from past game conventions. I got them all hanging right here, and I keep those on there so they never lose them or they never go anywhere. But yeah, that's it. Other than that, tell me how your life is as a gamer. I'm currently playing through what am I playing? Finishing up Undertale on PC. Playing a few other games. Oh, Destiny. If you catch me online, jump on in and holler at me. A few other games. I think I'll start Broforce and some other stuff. Other than that, I'm Light Spiller, and I'm out.